G'day, welcome back to the channel. My name's Brett. Just thought I'd do a video on my costs of living here in the village. Everyone's costs are going to be different. There's so many variables, but I just thought I'd share with you my costs. Now, I've never ever budgeted. I've sort of never really taken to being forced to live a certain way. So basically what I do is I spend enough to be comfortable. Now in Thailand, my visa requirements are that I have to send a minimum of 65,000 baht a month from an Australian account to a Thai bank. That satisfies my visa requirement. But what I generally do is I send a little bit more. I send about 70,000 baht every month. So the extra money, just in case I have to go to the dentist or any unforeseen circumstances where you may have to spend a little bit extra, I've always got a little bit up my sleeve. But I'll go through roughly what I spend, which is going to be different to what other people spend. Like, for example, my electricity bill is far higher than most people I know. That's generally because I use more appliances. But on average, I spend about 35,000 baht a month, a little bit more than that most months. But if I travel, which I'm not doing it at the moment, of course, but normally I like to travel at least a week to 10 days to 2 weeks a month, and therefore your costs go up. And I usually spend an extra 10 to 15,000 baht while I travel. Now, bear in mind that when I'm traveling, my costs back in the village are less because I'm not here, of course. So I don't have the air conditioner on 24/7. I'm not watching television, I'm not leaving lights on, fans going, all the little things that add up to make my electricity bill as high as what it is. Just to be clear also is that I don't pay rent. So I haven't included any rent in these costs. I live with my partner. She has a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in the village, a brick and tile. So I'm lucky in that regard that I don't have any rental costs. So I imagine in this village, if you were to rent, it would cost you up to 10,000 baht a month, I would imagine, around those figures for the similar sort of house that I'm staying in. So monthly costs, I've tried to cover everything. I may have missed some things. I'm not sure. If I have missed something, maybe I'll revisit this video and update it at some stage in the future. So this video is basically as at the end of June 2021. Entertainment-wise, I've only listed a couple of small things, but living in the village, there's not a lot of entertainment. There's no bars that I can go to and drink. Right? There's no nightclubs and that sort of thing. So my entertainment is mainly centered around family gatherings, weddings. In the village here, they have quite a few festivals. So, and most of these things don't cost anything. So my entertainment costs are really, really small. We have a golf course here. I could play that. We have a golf driving range. I could hit a few golf balls. That might cost a bit of money, 20 or 40 baht. We're right near a river, so I could go fishing if I want. So there are entertainment avenues around, but I spend very little on entertainment. It's a fairly quiet life here in the village, and that's how I like it. Just to be clear as well, I've included costs for cars and motorbikes. I own my car. I bought that a few years ago for 350,000 baht, so I don't have any payments on that. I bought a small scooter for my partner, which I think was about 56,000 baht. We own that. And I also bought a motorbike for myself in my name, and that cost me 96,000 baht. So we don't have any ongoing costs for our vehicles. We only have like the registration, insurance, and those sorts of things. So, look, I'll shut up and let you have a look at my costs, bearing in mind other people's will be different to mine. I do like Western food, so Western food in Thailand is more expensive, of course, than Thai food. So, okay, I'll let you listen to the rest of the video, and I'll probably talk to you again at the end. Thank you. The electricity may seem high to some people. I think you have different rates throughout the country, but considering that I have the air conditioner on most of the time, sometimes running 2 TVs and always running 2 fridges, it's fairly high, I imagine. But this does come down a bit when we're traveling. Water is very cheap here in Thailand. We use mainly bottled water for drinking and cooking and so forth, but use the water for the gardens, the mains water. I get our internet through True Vision. The reason I've got this is I have a package that includes television. I don't actually use the phone component of it. I just use it for my television channels, sports like F1 and AFL football. I've been with AIS with my phone since about 2007. So I use mainly now data. So I buy a data package that usually costs between 1,500 and 1,800 baht for 6 months. We don't eat out very much at restaurants and so forth, so our groceries are probably one of the most expensive items on the list. And we do most of our cooking in the house or at home. And I like Australian types of food. I do eat some Thai foods, and my partner is a great cook with both Western and Thai dishes, so I'm pretty lucky. But the miscellaneous component of this is like, washing detergent, dish detergent, sponges, towels, paper towels, all those sorts of things. So yeah, it's a bit of an average type month for us. Fuel includes the car and the motorbikes. The motorbikes don't use much at all, but the car can use a bit, especially when we're traveling. The price of fuel goes up and down like anywhere in the world. Car costs include 12 monthly check and registration for my car because it's more than 7 years old, and also car insurance, and I also have roadside assistance. Motorbike costs are just for servicing, which are very cheap, and also annual registration. Health insurance is a big cost. With my O-A visa, I have to have an insurance policy. I would have one anyway, but yeah, I have to have one. I'm with Pacific Cross, and it costs me about 35,000 baht a year. So it's another large expense for me. Medicines is a big cost for me. An example, like one of my medications in Australia was about 800 baht a month. In Thailand, it's 2,700 baht a month. So there's a big difference between the cost of medication in Australia and compared to Thailand. So that would probably be one of my bigger costs for living in Thailand. I've included deaths in the monthly figures. What they have in the village is when someone dies, each household is supposed to donate money towards the funeral and towards the family. That's usually 100 baht a time for each person living in the house. Here we get on average about one death a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, but yeah, I've included that because it is a cost. Thai lottery is just a little bit of a luxury. I buy 2 or 3 tickets in every draw, so I've included that in here as well. I've included a cost for the house, and that's mainly little maintenance things or maintenance jobs needed around the house, done by one of the local villagers. It also could be for like buying a little bread, straw broom, or replacing a doorknob, a door handle or something like that. Just a small cost for maintenance around the house. I've included birthdays because with Thai families there's quite a few people, and it's not a big deal, but it does add up over a 12-month period, so I've included birthdays as a cost as well. Immigration cost is mainly the renewal cost for my visa. There may be some other immigration charges there if you want a certificate of residency, so forth, but mainly for visa renewal. I've put Lazada in there. I've got a bit of a habit of buying things, just little bits and pieces. There may be some foods that I want, some sauces, or there may be some bits and bobs that I want for my camera or computer, etc. So I quite enjoy receiving the packages. I don't spend a lot, but I might buy a shirt here or there. 100 baht for a shirt is not going to break me. So yes, I've included Lazada. Entertainment is hard to quantify living in a village. We have a movie theatre in town, but there's no English-speaking movies to speak of. So what I've included here is my Netflix, which I watch movies, etc., TV series. I've also included the West Australian. I subscribe to the West Australian newspaper, which is a daily newspaper in Perth. With the conditions of my visa, to renew it, I have to send a minimum of 65,000 baht from Australia to Thailand each month. And with these transfers, I use TransferWise, or as it's called now, Wise. And you usually have about, you have a small fee for transferring the money, and that's included here. Travel is a bit of a tricky one for us because at the moment we're not travelling at all, but in normal times I like to travel at least a week to 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks a month. So it's hard to figure out those costs. Depends on where you go, where you stay. But while we're away, the costs like electric, water, etc., reduces in the village. So some of it balances itself out. But hard to estimate, but I would say between 10 and 15,000 baht a month extra when I'm travelling. I still have a house and car in Australia, so I incur costs, council rates, house insurance, contents insurance, vehicle registration, those sorts of things, car insurance. So yeah, I have to take into consideration that, but I'm not including that in my monthly costs here in Thailand, but just to be aware that I do have costs back in Australia. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. It's just my costs of living in a Thai village. everyone's going to be different. I live quite a moderate life here in the village. I enjoy it. The people are friendly. Get invited to a lot of parties and weddings and festivals and so forth. So quite enjoying it. Now the costs are probably higher than what a lot of people would expect from living in a Thai village, but bear in mind I like Western food, and I won't scrimp on that. You've got to live your life. If you've got the means to do it, I believe that you should do it. My entertainment is very limited, but I do enjoy riding around the village and the surrounding villages and the mountains and along the river. So I get quite a bit of enjoyment out of that, and petrol for the motorbike is pretty cheap, so it's fairly cheap entertainment. So that's my costs of living in the village. One thing you have to remember is that it's variable dependent on the exchange rate. When I first came to Thailand many years ago, you could get 33 baht to the Australian dollar. Most of the time I've been here, it's been around the 26, 25. And when I made my decision to retire in Thailand, I based that decision on it being around 25. Just after I retired, it kept going down and it went down to about 19. It's back up to about 24 at the moment, which I'm pretty happy about. So all these costs change constantly with the exchange rate. So while at the moment I'm getting a reasonable exchange rate, I'm happy. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and it gives you some idea of what it might cost living in a village. Everyone's going to be different, like I say, but it's just a guide, and I hope you enjoyed the video. All right, I'll say thank you for watching, and cheers.